So would you say that the reason that we need foreign workers is solely to satisfy the market, or are there other reasons you think that we need more foreign workers?
I mean, that's it.
Is that
If they're jobs that need to be filled, now, my jobs are low-end jobs. H-2Bs tend to be because there's 7 months or 8 months of the year. Funny thing about Americans is they want to eat all the year long. So these are people who come and go, and they go home. And I had, the last time I put an ad in the paper, I got 30 people. That's about 3 or 4 months ago. For the first time, 30 people actually applied for my jobs. I hired 8 of them. At the end of 3 weeks, after extensive training, all 8 had quit. I can't train people over and over. I have a workforce that loves my jobs. They come, they work, they do a fabulous job. I pay them very well. They go home and they can't wait to come back next year.
Right.
And so it's the fact that there are jobs that we cannot fill, even in the worst of times, that we need these. And then there's the PhDs. I mean, Silicon Valley a few years back said they needed 100,000 PhDs. We educate them in our universities, and then we won't give them work permits.
Right.
And so they have to go to other countries with having taken advantage of our highly subsidized education, and we won't even allow them to get jobs here. So yes, it is the market that determines whether we need guest workers or not. But I want you to remember, 4 million Americans a year are guest workers in other countries. We love it. We're so pleased to have this opportunity. It's easy to get work permits for other countries. And yet, this country, you know, there's a disconnect between, a reality disconnect.
So there are some proposals from those such as Representative Steve King,
Right.
who wants more government enforcement of immigration laws and immigration moratoriums and stuff like that. I was wondering if you could just sort of respond to that sort of philosophy.
That philosophy is authoritarian. It's about government control. Tell me what's conservative about that approach.
It's a rhetorical question.
It's a problem. And I really think that a lot of the anti-immigration people are really sort of environmental control people. They don't want more population. And so you don't want immigrants, legal or illegal, in this country because it expands the population and services, etc. In our plan, if everybody's legal, and then by golly, you crack down on people who are illegal and employers who hire illegals. But right now, I can't get legal workers. So don't criminalize me until you give me a bath. And the same is true about the worker. He has no way to become legal. None at all. So don't criminalize. Get a program, a sensible, realistic, common sense approach, a doable approach. Get these people an opportunity to get legal if they have work. If they don't have work, you can't have a work permit, can you? So that's the defining factor.
You mentioned part of it is based on this idea of population control, or
Well, that's my guess. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Do you think that there are any sort of in the anti-immigration, on the conservative side, or even on the left, if there's any sort of racial undertones there as well?
Absolutely. You know that. In fact, there's a couple of people who have been just rabid border control people who have almost started race wars. I mean, it has been very destructive to the principles of America.
So it seems like there is this sort of, maybe not divide, but there are lots of different sides to the immigration issue on the conservative side itself. So where do you see, who are your allies in this on the right or on the left? Who do you see as maybe kind of helping you?
Rift is really between real conservatives and people who aren't conservatives. I mean, conservatives have principles, and they're the principles of the founding fathers. And that means that we can handle problems ourselves. And we believe in markets, and we believe in the private sector instead of government. So that's the real rift, because this authoritarian control approach is not, I call them tax and spend Republicans, because all they think about is more bureaucrats on the border, let's have another 20,000 new federal employees, let's have billions and billions and billions of dollars for walls, instead of coming to grips with the real problem, which is that we need foreign labor, but we need to control it. And once you get foreign labor coming through the gate instead of over the wall, you can look at the people who are left. You know, in the Bracero program, there was 1 million apprehensions the year before the Bracero program started. Whether you like the Bracero program or not, when it was at its peak, the Bracero program, the apprehensions went down to 35,000. When the Bracero program started going down, it went right up to 1 million apprehensions a year. This is not theory like so many people. This is what happened. And 80% of Americans say there will be no border security without a work program. Now, what's left, those 35,000 people, they're human traffickers, drug traffickers, gun traffickers. We want to stop every last one of them.
Right.
But if you take the number of border agents we have at our southern border right now, if each one catches 2 people a year, that we would have border security. Although that's much more complicated than it sounds, because now the flow of illegals is coming by sea.
Oh,
It's a big border by sea.
So I guess just my last question here. So have there been any members of Congress that have put forth any plans that you have?
Well, Kay Bailey Hutchison was a great advocate. Mike Pence is a great advocate. John Shattuck is a great advocate. But the players keep changing, you know, and we are a 501c3. So we can't advocate for laws, we can't advocate for particular candidates, we can educate congressmen and staff, which we do every opportunity we get.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but she has a 2:15, it's live, so we have to go down.
And I'll give you
That's it.
a list too of on our job,
Okay.
go on our website.